Ladies and gentlemen collectors, welcome yourselves to another episode of the Collector's Manual. I'm loving doing this series and bringing it for you, and today we have got a doozy. You guys voted in a poll earlier this week, physical game preservation. You want me to discuss that, talk about it. As you know, a lot of the games that I have them in plastic seals and acrylic cases, and I mean, here in Japan it's a really cheap thing to do, but it's also not that expensive to do in the UK as well. Now, I've got two games with me today that we're going to be bagging up. I've got a Metal Gear Rising trial version, factory sealed, and then I got a copy of Never Dead, which again was in absolutely amazing condition. So today we're going to be bagging these up, and I'm going to be showing you basically how I do it. So inevitably you've bought a video game and you want to look after it for the long term, and as you can see, I've got this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles double plastic top because I want to kind of keep these in as good condition as possible. Now, it does kind of cross over with physical video game preservation by having it ripped to your PlayStation 3 hard drive. So what do I mean by that? Well, the first kind of preface is that when I bag these up, and I'll have this kind of list on the side here, but when I bag these up, I kind of want to not have to touch them for a while. So do I need to get the disc back out again, or can I rip that game straight to the hard drive on the PlayStation and then I can just kind of store the game away on the shelf and have it displayed nicely? Or do I need to have immediate access to it? Again, that kind of affects how I store it, because I got a little shelf here that's got a couple of games like readily available for me to like just pull out, but then I've got them in plastic wallets and stuff if I want to keep them stored away. Again, storage wise, windows, sunlight, those kind of things we will discuss. And today is not a tutorial, or it's not a discussion about jailbreaking your PlayStation 3 or modifying your PlayStation 3, but what I will say is that is one of the key things that makes physical video game preservation in 2026 so fantastic. So just a brief mention, I have a modified PlayStation 3. I modified it myself. I'm not like a crazy tech nerd kind of guy. It's a really simple thing to do, and again, like, consider upgrading the hard drive and those kind of things and giving yourself as much space in that as possible, because again, it's a game changer, literally. So what I will have done is physically ripped the disc to my PlayStation 3 so I can access the game directly on the PlayStation and play it digitally. And then what I will do is I'll take that game out, and again, we'll focus on this one today because it is factory sealed, but I'll put the game back in the case. But one thing that I like to do beforehand as well, now this Never Dead is in immaculate condition, and this is straight from the shop. Like, I just took it out, the store plastic. This game right here, it's actually in fantastic condition. Usually I'll do a case swapper. So what do I mean by that? So I'll buy a game, this Battlefield Hardline here, it cost me 550 yen, and it's factory sealed. Now, I don't think Battlefield Hardline plays in English, and if I look on Mercari, factory seal versions of this again are like 550, 800 yen. So it's not like, oh, I can go and flip it for like a few thousand yen. Like, it's not. So what I would do is, this case right here is brand new, so I will take the seal off, and if it is a game like what I did with The Godfather, I'm not sure if I have a picture of what The Godfather looked like beforehand, but it was a mess. It was a big old mess. So I basically take the case, take the box art out, swap the box art over, I put the disc in, the manual in, and this is after I've ripped it, of course, and then I will put it into a plastic sleeve, and it will be in a brand new case. So essentially you have almost a brand new copy. And it's an almost new copy because it doesn't have the factory seal on it. But yeah, so I'll take an old game, I'll use the factory sealed case, and I'll swap it to a different game. And then we use these. Now, in Japan, I go to Daiso. I get these things called A5 clear pockets, and they got these like seal strips as well. but these are the A5 size. There must be something very similar in your own country. It's just an A5 wallet. Look, just an A5 sleeve that you would like put papers in or stuff like, and it's just got a seal on it. Fold it over. You can get them on eBay as well, but mine are A5 sized. A5 size. So we take the game. We've got this this Metal Gear here. I'm a bit worried because the factory seal is lifting just a touch there, but again, we'll do it as carefully and as cautiously as possible. Split it like this, and I'll just slide it in, basically, and take my time. I'm not trying to, you know, I'm not trying to win any races, but I'll try and do it so that you guys can see. Beautiful. Now slide that all the way down so you get these little like sharp corners at the bottom, and it's a perfect fit. Perfect fit. So, and then I just squeeze from the corners at the top if I want to push it down, if I want to move it around. So like that. Sorry, I'm getting a lot of reflection off my window there, aren't I? Very sorry, very sorry. Right, so just like that. Then I've got that seal strip at the top. Again, I like to pinch on these corners as well because it gives me sort of like a natural fold line. So I'll take the strip off, the seal strip off, and then fold it over, bring it down, just like that. And then I like to press from the middle out. And just like that, and then I fold these edges here as well. And then you should sort of have like these join lines that runs up the side here of the plastic wallet, and then where the flap comes around, it should join up, and then you get this really nice like triangle here. And then you just do like a little fold on that triangle so it's nice and clear, and then fold it down. Bang, and that's how the corners will go. But you don't have to spend too much time fannying about with the corners that much anyway, because the next thing that we're going to put it into will help it retain its shape. So that's what we do. And I guess it's to this point. Now this point here is where I like to be if I want it for quick access. So again, I've got, you know, a few games on the shelf just here. I'll put them in a plastic wallet like this. If I know that I'm going to be taking the disc in and out all the time, I'll just have it in this plastic wallet and slide it on the shelf and just have it sat there, and then I can get it, just open up the thing, take it out, and then play the disc, put it back in, and so on and so forth. But you might think, oh, you know, it's not really necessary to kind of go to these sorts of lengths. And that's I agree with you, especially for like games like Call of Duty and stuff. Like, you don't need to be banging them in plastic sleeves like this. You know, there's that many copies of those games out there. But for the games that do hold value, and for the games that you do want to sort of maintain, like this is, you know, brand new, those sort of things, those are the ones that where this is sort of more applicable for you. But right now, yeah, this one is it's at a stage. So now let's go through to the next part. So then I buy these. At the minute I get these from Super Potato. It's about the only thing that Super Potato is useful for. But you can get these online. I used to get them off of AliExpress is where I used to get them from. And AliExpress ones were a lot harder. So the protection was a little bit better. These got a lot of flex in them, but I'll show you one from something that's come from AliExpress. For instance, this Assassin's Creed Connor Saga that is factory sealed. These ones are a lot harder, so they're a lot harder to fold, and they've got a lot less flex in them, so they hold the structure a lot better. I think I would argue that it's probably more protected, but then this one for TMNT is it's got more fold in it. But to be honest with you, protection wise, it's negligible. And I personally think that because of how you want things to kind of sit, I mean, stacked on top of each other, you can't really tell the difference. But what I will say is that from a space perspective, the thicker acrylic is going to take up more space. You can see here at the front, I'm not sure if you can see that, it's so bright outside. The space at the front here, the TMNT you see how there's like this extra gap of space? That's just because the plastic is thicker than what's on the TMNT one's kind of a little bit more flush. So I actually prefer these just because of how flush they sit as well. And again, they won't take up as much space in your collection. So yes, we're gonna go to these. Now, one thing you can do, and it's something that I kind of didn't mention to begin with, but you know how sometimes the clips for the manual, it don't sit right because like the clip won't be down deep enough to be able to hold in just the insert or the piece of paper. But I'll also get a different plastic, and you kind of have to work out which ones it is, but I don't even know if it is these. Let me test. These are the ones that I use for PSP's games usually, but let's take Never Dead for instance. I think this one will work, but I've noticed a lot of the games that I was getting in Taiwan were doing this. But in here, so the manual sits in okay, but it is a little bit, it does have a little bit of movement. So what we're going to do is, and again, we're just going to take this and slide it in here. I mean, you kind of have to work out sizing wise as well, because I think I've bought just about every single plastic sleeve that Daiso make. But yeah, so that kind of sits in there. Not too bad. There's a bit of a gap there. But let me show you an example of another game that I picked up, and I can't remember where I found this. Oh, Mandarake. I got this from Mandarake in Akihabara for like 600 yen. Infamous 2. It is the Chinese English version. But in here, the manual was in a plastic sleeve. It was like in a plastic wallet. A lot of the games in Taiwan, they were being stored, all the manuals were being stored in these plastic sleeves, and again, it just keeps the manual fresh. Just keeps the manual fresh in really nice condition. So, you know, you can do that, and it will fill up a little bit more space in the game, so the manual doesn't like rattle around and stuff, and it makes the game just feel a little bit fuller. Because when there's a thick manual in a game, it feels better in hand as well. So yeah. This was just another little added thing that you can do for a game if you want to just make sure it's super protected, for instance. But again, I mean, this is a game I'm selling because I got the Infamous 2 collection coming. So yes, I take these. Again, I'm sure your local game store will have them, but if not, AliExpress was great for me. eBay have them as well. I'm sure you can find them online marketplace, and that's how they come, like flat packed. And we just fold it out. Just fold it opposite like that. They're really easy to put together. They're not overly complex. You just make sure you fold everything out properly so that it sits together nicely. So there we go. That's part of the box done. And then we do this. This. And I like to bend these back out as well, so they've got more flex in them. For the tops, fold them over. And again, and then I fold it all the way in, but you see how I've done it like flat though. So what do I mean by that? So for instance, I folded the top half over, did that fold, then I let that back out, and then I folded it all the way over, like how you would do if there was a game in there. And it just gives it the nice sort of, now you've got like a natural bend in that top there as well, you see. I'm not sure if I'm explaining this very well. I'm not being very articulate. I do apologize. It's a really weird thing to sort of explain. It's not easy to explain, but that's what I'm showing you. And again, fold that down like this. Beautiful. And then fold it back. So there. Now, if you've got it and half of it is like that, half of it is like that, you're good to go. Now, one thing I like to make sure is that the glue, there's a glue spine here. I like to make sure that, is there a glue spine on the other one? Yeah, so there is a glue spine, but it's on the side instead of on the back of these ones. But just get ones that work. You don't have to get too overboard with it. But I like to make sure that wherever the glue spine is, that they're all on the same side. So if you look at the backs of all my games, it's on the left-hand side. Again, glue spine on the left-hand side. Again, glue spine on the left-hand side. Glue spine on the left-hand side. So I have done it on the left-hand side with all of them. I want it like this. Glue spine on the left-hand side, bang, like this. So one thing I didn't mention, sometimes it's got air in it. I'll take a little pair of scissors I'll just make a cut right up in this top area. So where this triangle is here, I'll make a cut right on the inside of the middle. Like that. And then that way, I can squeeze all the air out, because when you've got loads of air in it, you get like kind of like waves in the inside the plastic protector. So, you know, to try and mitigate those waves, I'm not saying it's going to be immaculate, but to try and mitigate those waves, you want to squeeze all that air out when putting this in. This is a bit finicky, but again, you see how I told you to make those triangles earlier? So now I like to slide it up, and you'll understand why. So again, you want to make those triangles because they're going to fold down as you slide it up into this. So I'll try and show you closely like this, but you see that? Work one end in and then work the other end in, and then slide it down, and it forces those triangles in basically. And you don't have to use tape. You can tape them down if you want to, but as I push that up now, it's looking nice and clean, and then you just push it all the way up, and then you want to push it until you reach the top line, but don't go past it. Reason being, because then them triangles flip out and you have to try and like tuck them back in again. It's really annoying. So in this situation now, we obviously want to do each one of the ends. So I like to fold the bottoms here, because you've got that little flap, but that would make another triangle on the bottom. Fold those over, and then tuck this in, tuck this flap in here, like that. But then don't like put loads of pressure on it, because you don't want to move the game up. And then just do the same thing on the top. And there you have it. Job done, really. And then you can just press it in on both ends. And job done. And that is a fully sealed PlayStation 3 game in a plastic wallet inside of an acrylic protector. And that right there. And you can squeeze any excess air out as well if you want to. And that right there is how I physically preserve my video games. Now in the future I will talk about how I preserve my video games digitally on the PlayStation, and we'll cover that when we're talking about modifying your PlayStation 3. But yes, so this physical storage solution for you, again, I'll talk about how to do the digital version later on down the line. And I will do two things. I will do a video talking about, of course, modifying the PS3, but then I'll do another one talking about, and this is going to be a very simple tutorial on how to rip games directly to your hard drive. There we go. And that is super cool looking, ready to be stored away. Storage solutions, again, you have to think about sunlight. Here in Japan, spine fade is terrible. And again, I want you guys to think about spine fade as well, even if you're in the UK or wherever you are in the world. I want you to think about, where is the sun being cast in your room? Where are the games situated in that room? Can you have like maybe a bookcase that's like got doors that close on it, or has it got like glass in the front? Or, you know, you want to kind of prevent the sun from damaging these, because sun really does damage these. It's so common to find spines completely faded, fronts faded, like, and it just completely destroys how your video games look. They just look terrible once they've caught that sun fading. So make sure you store them away really, really well. Or if you do want to have them out displayed, make sure that in terms of sunlight coming in, maybe you've got some blinds that you can close, or, you know, or maybe you pick a room for your collection that doesn't have the sun kind of pass directly in. It sort of passes over, so you still get nice light in there, but it doesn't come directly into the room. So that's something for you to consider. Again, how I've arranged this small space, I've done it to kind of deflect the sun away from coming in, because I used to have everything over there and the sun blasts straight into that corner. So this copy of this game right here is going to be a giveaway for the YouTube channel once we hit 1,000 subscribers, following from the Metal Gear, what's in my Metal Gear collection. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Collector's Manual. I hope this was, you know, enlightening for you doing your physical preservations. Again, tools that we used: acrylic PS3 savers, A5 plastic wallets, and then if you want to store your manual away in a smaller plastic wallet, just make sure that it fits it nice so there's no overhang. And yeah, that's the tall and short of it, really. I hope you guys are preserving your collections or preserving the gems in your collections. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for your patronage, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.